Mr. Piana,
Yo,
the infamous blanket makes the return.
yeah, man. These are cold and dark days at Chelsea FC. So,
Very, very, very dark days.
mm. But for those of you who have not seen some of the footage that has come out from the training ground, and apparently even some of the quotes from our new manager, right? He says he wants to make Stamford Bridge feel like what it was before. He wants to make teams fear us when they play here again. Um, So, man, listen, I like to talk. I like to talk. And at this point, he just has to walk it. He just has to walk it.
He can walk his plank back to Hull City.
Wow. Wow.
I think
Jeez,
we should all place a bet or a guess on how long we think he's gonna last. I give
Oh,
I give him probably max 3 years, and that's probably being kind.
three
3
And maybe
years?
years,
That's
yeah,
a
maybe
lot. Brother,
that's
you know
maybe too long, huh?
that's a lot.
Yeah. Well,
That's
his
bro.
contract is like I think longer than that.
He
But
got a 7-year contract.
I've heard
exactly, and
6.
6, 7, whatever.
Bro, 3 years as a Chelsea manager is actually something. You know?
CJ.
I got it, I got it, I got it.
Shit.
So annoying, man.
Um,
What you're saying, Laurent? Sorry.
No, I'm saying 3 years as a Chelsea manager, you're a
uh,
successful manager. If you're
It's
lasting three
true.
years at Chelsea FC, you're doing something
I'd
right.
give him till next January.
Yeah, that's probably more realistic, to be honest. I'm being
Mm,
kind with 3 years.
okay. Listen, I don't even know. I don't even know.
Laurent, at the back of his mind, he's like, "Fuck, he may get sacked by the end of the season."
I don't even know. It's one of those where if they've like, listen, if like, I'll I'm hoping that that move, right, as unwise as it seems to the rest of us, I'm hoping there is some sense and some rationale behind it. That it wasn't just an ego trip, right? This manager is talking
Coach, don't say
ah,
manager.
wow. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Who we talking about? Ruben Amrin or
Both of them
yeah.
are coaches. They weren't managers.
uh yeah, but
Can I be real for a sec? Can I be
mm,
real for a sec?
yeah.
This is probably the highest praise I'm ever going to give Chelsea or Maresca, not Chelsea. It was the most boneheaded move by that ownership to let Maresca go. Everyone has these conversations about Maresca or comparing him to Arteta, and like Slot comparing him to Arteta, yada yada yada. Maresca came in, he had like a multi-billion-dollar squad, but within that time, he won two trophies. He won two trophies. Yes, one of them was a Mickey Mouse Conference League trophy. However, he was still able to win a trophy. Then he went to the FIFA Club World Cup. Yes, again, there's a lot of good teams that were not in it. He still performed. And the stuff that's coming out about him not being able to make the final decision of how long the players play and the medical, then they had like an independent medical staff who made those decisions. I can appreciate his frustration, but if you're Chelsea and you're trying to get some stability and you have a manager where you took a chance on him coming from the championship and he performed, like you're boneheaded to go for someone who has never managed big personalities ever. He was at Hull City. He was at where was he with Wayne Rooney? Was it Derby County, I think?
Mm,
And then he was at Strasbourg. Like Maresca didn't either, but when he was with Pep Guardiola, he learned how to manage personalities. And now you're coming into a club that has World Cup winners, who has Champions League winners, who players that have accomplished things in their career, and you're looking at the coach being like, "What have you done in your career?" I don't know about you, but I know football players are very egotistic. I wouldn't fucking listen to 2 cents this guy has to say.
bro, what do you mean, bro? He's a PE teacher. He have you running laps, buddy. And
Exactly. I wouldn't fucking listen to him. Like, run laps. You run laps. You were fucking playing in the championship your whole career. What are you talking about?
mm,
I think it was boneheaded, and I think you guys are gonna regret it. To be honest with you, I think Enzo Maresca is a top manager, and I hate to say that, but I think he's a top manager.
Well, shit. I hope you're wrong, obviously, because if you are right, it can only get much, much worse from here. And in the event that you are not correct, I do think we're going to see this team revitalize. And I'm excited, especially in terms of the type of football he's saying he wants us to play. I'm excited for that.
The
Um,
football with 10 or 11 men.
oh, with 11 men. With
Oh,
11
okay.
men. Yeah, with 11 men.
Not the
Bro,
11th man in the change room, right? Like on the pitch?
yeah, on the pitch, on the pitch. Bro, and another red card, man. Oh, that is wild, bro. Absolutely insane. But yeah,
Korea is an idiot for doing that because you guys had enough to, even if they had scored that chance, you guys had enough to potentially win that game. And again, there's only one team in Fulham. Looks like your London rivals are Fulham, not even Arsenal.
hmm. Well, listen, man. We'll get to you guys next week. What is it? Wednesday?
Yo, I'm coming in with the shots. Bang, 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 bang.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I'm just saying, keep that same energy after when you guys get your ass handed to you by the new PE teacher at the bridge, and then y'all can run laps after the
Right.
game. Oh,
Ass handed to us playing dodgeball or football?
oh, football, and
Oh,
not the
okay, okay.
not the American football.
Okay, I just wanted to
Yeah, yeah,
clarify
yeah,
what
yeah.
sport you were talking about because
Mm.
I just, there was a little bit of static in your voice. I just wanted to, clarify.
Okay, okay. No, just yeah, I'm just trying to clarify that. And then you make sure, right?
Huh?
You guys, you two being the messenger, you make sure that you relay that to Martinelli, right? That we're playing, soccer with class. All right? We're not doing whatever he's trying to do.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah, so you make sure
Oh,
you
we're
relay
gonna
that,
go
right?
there.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Because
since you,
I can tell you if he pulls that shit, oh my gosh, bro. Yeah, yeah, I don't think he's gonna be fit enough for the World Cup come this June.
okay, okay. So I had, well, welcome back, everyone. Episode 72.
Mm.
Um, since you took it there, I had sent a message in our group chat that I am going to be giving the manager that I have so much hatred towards um, some kind words. So Arsenal's performance, I know CJ is gonna break it down. It was essentially a tale of two halves for me. First half we played well. Second half was shambolic. We failed to go 8 points clear. Trossard lost his head. Saka was cooking Kirkez in the first half, but second half, I think him and all the other players just lost it. The incident that you're alluding to, Martinelli, it was the 94th minute. Connor Bradley looks like a high ankle sprain. He had to be stretchered off. Um, Mind you, Bradley was off the pitch and he crawled back onto the pitch. Now, two things I'm going to say. One, Gary
Wait,
Neville,
why'd you add that in?
because that's the facts.
All right, all right,
That's the
all right.
what part? The fact that he was off the pitch and he came back on the pitch?
No, I'm just saying because you want to add that context in, right, to kind of lower the gravity of what your
Well,
boy did.
okay, I don't even need to lower the gravity because of what Arne Slot said himself.
Mm.
Before I get to what Arne Slot said, Gary Neville, I don't know if you guys saw his comments in his Gary Neville podcast. Gary Neville was known to be one of the dirtiest players when he played in his career. CJ, I don't know if you remember what he did to Reyes.
Yeah.
So for someone, okay, so it's almost like me saying like something. I don't even know how to give an example. But for Gary Neville being such a dirty player in his career to say something and call like to incite violence, to essentially say that the Liverpool player should have whacked Martinelli and should have alluding to violence being incited on him and to call him an idiot when you were the dirtiest player on that United team next to Roy Keane. You're fucking pathetic. You are pathetic. You're inciting violence for something that, and again, I'll come to Arne Slot's comments, it's in the 94th minute. What do you expect? And now, where I'm going to praise Arne Slot for being very classy, because he was asked about it in his post match conference, and I listened to the entire thing. Arne Slot essentially said, he said, I don't blame Martinelli. It was a 94th minute, and the way that football is going, there was a lot of time wasting. He himself, Arne Slot, gave multiple examples of where Liverpool had faced other teams. He was alluding to Paqueta at West Ham. He was alluding to Sunderland. He was alluding to a lot of other games that players are going down, wasting time. He himself even said he didn't know. Emotions run high. It's the last kick of the game, and they're trying to go for the win. Sure. How is he supposed to know in the 94th minute? And yes, when you go look at the tape, Bradley was off the pitch and he crawled back on the pitch. Yes, it was a significant injury, but like in the heat of the moment, in the heat of the battle, how are you're not going to be able to compartmentalize that? Yes, was it classless? Was it distasteful? Yeah. Probably Martinelli after the game, he probably looked back at it. He's like, oh, fuck, maybe I shouldn't have done that. And I promise you, he probably messaged Bradley being like, hey, it was just in the heat of the moment. But for Gary Neville to incite violence, and I watch, I'm telling you, I'm telling both of you this, and to all the listeners and viewers, watch how the media is going to twist this in the context of the game and take away from the fact that Liverpool had an amazing performance in the second half. And I would even say in the first half, the defensive performance that Liverpool had, you have to put your hands up and say, wow, like that was really good. But that entire story is going to get changed and it's going to be flipped on, wow, Martinelli's classes. When it was just in the heat of the moment. I don't know if you guys see it the same way. I think Arnie Slot, that was the classiest thing that he's ever done, and I have to praise him. Um, but Gary Neville, you're a fucking tool bag, man. You're a fucking tool. So that's my little rant. But yes, Laurent, you look like you're about to roast me.
No, no, no. I mean, I think these are good points that you made. Um, I don't know. I guess yeah. When you look at it through that lens, right? Could he have factored all of that in at that instant? Who knows? Only he knows, truly, right? And like I think it moves very fast, right? You're heated. It's emotional. Um, all I'm saying is this: is that if the team color is blue and you're doing that, yeah, man, you might not make it to the locker room.
Who's gonna do something? Cole Palmer?
Huh? Oh no, man. No, no. Listen, bro, we had Enzo. Remember Enzo and the lap duel, bro? Like, and just imagine if Caicedo was on that pitch. So I'm gonna just leave it at that. But
That's the
all in
key
all,
word. Imagine. You have an imaginary player that gets compared to PFA Player of the Year loading.
oh my gosh, we're still talking about this. Yeah, this is crazy. Damn. Well, listen, man, I hope that that player of yours gets you guys far in I'd say more so in the other competitions in the tournament. The FAs, the EFLs, and Champions League, right? The
For
player.
EFL, we're gonna make light work.
All right, all right. Yeah, yeah. You guys keep talking, man. You guys keep talking. Shit. Yeah, I truly hope you guys do pass because at this point, I don't think there's any excuse for you guys not to pass.
Light work.
All right, all right. Well, you know what? We'll shake hands and then we'll see each other
Oh, I'll
once
see you in 2 weeks.
yeah, once the second whistle blows.
Yeah, you'll be at my house in 2 weeks. Don't worry. Light work.
Mm. Yeah, but I think
Anything. What?
the return leg is on the third, by the way.
Yeah, but still, after the first leg, it'll be over. Game, set, match. It's all good.
You guys are gonna score three, eh? Just like you guys scored three today?
Yeah.
Mm. Okay, okay.
I put my money where my mouth is with my team. And you know the funny thing is, I even bet on your fucking team.
What to win?
Yeah, I bet on Congo.
Oh, yeah, bro. Yo, don't remind me about that, bro. Like I'm still.
Enough of us. Enough of us. Let's hear Mr. CJ sitting back there sipping on some Rand nephew, looking all annoyed and shit. I could just imagine you with Martinelli, some of his fucking runs and Trossard. You're probably like, get the fucking ball in. So, the VPN one was working great today. I was able to watch it. The stream didn't crack.
Nice, nice.
So, give us your breakdown, bro. What was your breakdown of the game?
Shit, I don't even know, man. Like this is like a roundtable discussion right now because there's a lot of things I feel like we all gotta like talk about and just dissect because where do you start with that? Actually, you know where we'll start? I thought your praise was going to go for Arne Slot. I thought it was going to go a little bit towards more like the how he approached the game, how his and the team approached the game from like a tactical
Yeah, funny. Yeah, I was gonna say
standpoint.
the same
That's
thing.
I did,
Yeah,
that right?
but
That's what I thought he was going to say.
yeah, but I did say that. I said in my rant, I said he got the selection right, and the way that they were playing, he got it right.
bro. I do not.
I don't
You
recall
this
hearing
like
that either,
fits
bro.
remembering. I do not recall
Bro,
hearing.
it's recorded. You can go back and listen to the beginning rant.
There's no way you mentioned anything about
Yeah,
the game in the fam.
bro.
Come
You're
on.
gonna have people at home like rewinding like 100 times just to find that segment. But
Well, they can rewind. It's there. It's in there. I promise.
mm,
Yeah, shit. Well, I think two words is missed opportunity. Really deflating and disappointing because I think in a year where, let's be real, it's pretty much Arsenal and City. No disrespect to Villa, they might put a little bit of pressure and be like the noisy neighbors, so to speak. But I don't see them being in the trenches when it comes down to it. I could be wrong, but at this moment in time, I think myself and a lot of other people are saying it's Arsenal or City. You know, and at a time where you have a potential to go 8 points clear level on games in January with City with stumbling as they are at the moment with injuries and things like that. Like that's really significant, you know. Um, and when you consider ahead of the game, I was talking about this in a couple of their like Arsenal chats and whatnot. All roads pointed to 3 points for Arsenal, right? Liverpool not in the best of form, conceding late goals as they did last game to Fulham, missing three key attacking players, Salah, Isak, Ekitike,
mm,
right? They're not in the best moment themselves. And then on the Arsenal side of things, you see how yesterday's results went, particularly City's result. You see we've had 5 days rest. Last time we played was Saturday.
Yep.
Majority of our players fit. Like I said, that motivation of knowing City dropped points, home game. Arteta and everyone else was hyping it up, saying, our atmosphere needs to be amazing. The fans need to come out. We're going to do all this, and that fan display. Everything was pointing in the direction of Arsenal and saying this is a 3 points banker, right? And then particularly when you come out and you see the lineup an hour ahead of kickoff and you see Noah Ekitike, you're thinking, yeah, surely, you know, um, man, like yeah, it's most times I'm not gonna totally sit here and say same old Arsenal in the sense that we don't capitalize because we've been capitalizing for the most part this season, right?
Yeah.
In terms of when our rivals drop points, we go and make the most of it. In the past, we've seen our rivals drop points and then we go and bottle it almost week in, week out, right? We never seem to capitalize, but we've done it already so far this season. Well, for the most part, we've capitalized when our rivals have dropped points. Not so long ago, against Villa last week or, during the holiday period, whenever that was, when City dropped points to Sunderland or whoever it was, in that same week, we went and slapped Villa 4-1 at home. And that was a statement game that everyone was saying, oh, shit, okay. Villa, they beat you not too long ago. They're in the title race mathematically, in great form, unbeaten in however long they were unbeaten in. And we went and slapped them up at the Emirates. So that was a statement game. So I'm not going to sit here and say that we haven't been capitalizing and it's same old Arsenal because, we've done that for the most part this season. But you still can't help but think today was just still a missed opportunity for that sense, man. 8 points clear is a big difference, big
Yep.
difference to 6. 6 points when, you have PTSD of a Man City team chasing you. I don't care what moment they're in. If you keep them hanging around with that experience, with that manager, with that robot up front, and some of those players who are Premier League winners, you keep them hanging around, it's always going to be spooky hours. If you keep them within touching distance, we still have to go to the Etihad. So worst case scenario is it's 6 points right now. If that maintains 6 going into that game at the Etihad in April and they beat us, that's now 3 points. That's
Yep.
nothing. It's a big difference. It's such a big point swing. So from that point of view, man, when you have that City team chasing you and you have that experience of Pep and so on chasing you, you want to stretch that gap as much as feasibly possible. And we could have managed to do it today. So it feels a little bit deflating from that point of view, man, because 8 points is a big difference. So that's the first thing. I mean, we don't have to harp on about that because everybody from an Arsenal lens and a wider footballing lens knows there's a missed opportunity. But it keeps us back grounded, right? It keeps us on our level, on our feet. I think yesterday there was a lot of even things that I was listening to in the podcast that I was listening to, and so on and so forth. Everybody's getting giddy in typical Arsenal fashion. We do that as fans, right? You already think, they dropped points yesterday. We're going to go on and win today. One hand on the trophy. But this one was a humbler, really. It keeps us grounded, and it's kind of like buckle up, boys, because we have a long ass season ahead of us still. It's going to be a long season, and we need to just kind of keep our feet on the ground and buckle up. But the game itself, yeah, like I don't know. The first half I wasn't super enthused by the first half. We did, have good spells. But still lack that directness, still lack that P word, still lack the penetration. We did some good things in and around the box. Saka, we got the ball out wide to Saka a lot versus Kirkez. Trossard got a bit of joy as well up against Bradley a couple times. And that's how we started. And you're thinking, okay, go on. You start as you mean to go on, but it didn't really pan out that way. Yeah. And before I continue to dissect the game, this is where I want to start the first sort of roundtable discussion point. I mean, Victor Gyökeres. We said this last podcast, right? So long as he's starting in a team that's winning and is top of the league, something is working, right? Whether he's scoring the goals or not, he's starting in a team that's winning. So the formula is obviously correct. The formula is obviously working. It's when we're no longer top of the league, right? For example, or we're slipping results-wise, and he's not scoring, then I think it becomes more of an issue that people talk about. And so in games like today, when we fire a blank, and he, I think something like 8 touches total in the whole game, it's like, man, it's not good enough, really and truly. It's not. I gotta be honest, like I said, if we win the league from this point and he stays on 5 goals, 6 goals, whatever it is, like I'll be happy because we won the league and he's a part of the team that won the league. But man, I have to or I'm going to continue to dissect it game by game, and today did not look pretty at all, right? These are big games. You bring in big players for big money for big games, and he was nowhere to be seen, really, missing in action. Some of the things that you would even expect in terms of positioning and positions to be in, that you expect your number 9 to be in, he was nowhere to be found. There's one part in particular in the first half where Declan Rice puts a great ball in on his left foot. Why is your number 9? Side, right? Yeah. Why is your number 9 not there, right? Last season, whenever we used to do those all the time. It was bread and butter last season. Saka, cut back, ball across the box. We used to do all the time last season, and the excuse was, we don't have a proper number 9. Mikel Merino was playing up front. So, he's not that traditional striker who has that mindset to get in the box. Well, we rectified that this season, and we have Gyökeres, who is that fox in the box. That's exactly where you need to be, and you're supposed to be. And we're putting those balls into the box, and you're nowhere to be found. That is concerning for me. You're one step too slow.
Where was he? Where was he?
He was behind the play. He just didn't make the run. He was there. He was there. He just didn't run in. He was hiding. He was behind Konate.
Bro, people are saying he's playing in Timberland boots at the moment. Like, he can't even run. You know what I mean? Like, he's not even getting that yard of pace. He's not making that dart into the box or where he needs to be. He's playing slow. He's playing one step behind the play. It's getting a little bit lethargic, and yeah, it's concerning. Now, one thing I will say, and this is what I wanted to talk about when we were, offline, and I said I have a couple of theories to bring up. He can't be. You don't just go from a 20, 30 goal machine a season that he's been doing for the last couple of years to just being space jammed essentially, and you forget how to play football, or you forget how to put the ball in the back of the net, or you
Bro,
forget the
apparently
positions
that's
to be in.
listen, apparently that's how it is when you're coming from the Portuguese league, eh? You have like the João Felix.
I
Uh,
saw that. Yeah, yeah. Nuno, what's his name? Nunez, Darwin Nunez
yeah,
from
Darwin
Liverpool.
Nunez. Yeah, man. Yeah,
Ruben
apparently.
Amorim. I'm hearing, it's all a facade from
Yeah,
that Portuguese. That Portuguese
yeah,
league makes people think, people are doing
yeah.
wonders. But no, man. Listen, like all jokes aside, like I think I want to ask the question. I want to be controversial here, and I want to ask the question because that's another striker who's come into this club who hasn't performed so far and isn't putting up the numbers that you want a striker to put up, right? You guys somebody here made the comment about Victor Gyökeres playing as a defensive striker, and hearing that rings bells to previous seasons when we say Gabriel Jesus is playing as a defensive striker. It's not the first time I'm hearing that. They used to say that about Gabriel Jesus, playing as a false nine, playing basically CDM in midfield, right? You saw that in this game in the second half when he came on. He wasn't even in positions he was supposed to be in the box. When Madueke and the likes put in a few good balls across the box, no striker was there, right? And this is when Gabriel Jesus was on the pitch. And that he's notorious for that as well, right? Not being in those positions because he's playing, a lot deeper and dropping in a lot. Alexander Lacazette, a famous blast from the past name, was kind of the same. He used to drop deep a lot. Therefore, he would never really be in the positions in the box that you need him to be as a striker.
Mm.
And so my other side of the coin, right, and somewhat of a defense of Gyökeres is like in Arteta's system, we do not see Arteta's system is not built for a striker to thrive and get the individual numbers. And I did mention this last pod to you guys as well, right? In the sense that we don't build a system around one player where it's like give the ball to Cristiano Ronaldo and he's going to get 20 goals a season. Give the ball to a Mo Salah, he'll bag the goals that'll win you guys games. It's a collective, right? So our system is not built to get the best out of a number 9 and for a number 9 to go on and get the numbers because it's not about the individual, it's about the collective in this the Arteta system as it seems, right? So that's why you haven't seen Gyökeres come in and bag goals week in week out. Jesus, Kai Havertz, obviously Mikel Merino has been playing the false 9. Lacazette, whoever's come in and played that number 9 role for Arsenal Football Club under Mikel Arteta has not gone on to get the goals. The last striker that we had that truly thrived and got the numbers was Aubameyang, and that was pre-Mikel Arteta. Arteta comes in, Aubameyang looks like a completely different player, to be fair. And we thought he was washed. What happens? Aubameyang leaves, and since he's left, the player that we all thought was washed, he's gone on to score goals at Barca. He's gone on to score goals now at Marseille, and he's bagging goals again. His Champions League return currently this season with Marseille is brilliant. He's scoring goals. Since he's left Arsenal, so his trajectory hasn't gone downward. In fact, he's gone back up, and he's starting to score goals again and look like that free spirit striker. So my point is like, again, Gyökeres, is he really that bad? Did he go that bad overnight? Or is he just now in a system that does not get the best out of a number 9? You know what I mean? It's a combination of both, I think, at this point. He's got to do a lot better. The system doesn't teach you how to, either you have a good first touch or you don't. You know what I mean? The system has nothing to do with the first touch. You're a professional footballer. I need to see you have a better touch in certain instances and a little bit better link-up play. You know what I mean? You're a professional footballer. But at the same time, in his defense, like I said, the strikers before him in this system have not thrived in terms of chances or goal return and clear-cut chances that you create for your number 9 and a system that allows your number 9 to be direct, to thrive, to get in behind, and so on and so forth. So those are my thoughts. But I'm curious to know before I continue what you guys think about what I just said. You know what I mean? Like, is it a coincidence that we're seeing another striker who had the record, which is why we bought him, come into the club and now he doesn't look like that striker anymore playing in this Arsenal team? Is that a coincidence? Is that him? Is that the system? Is it a combination of both? I'm curious to know what you guys think.
Well,
Murdad, you can go. I'll chime in.
I think it's more system than Gyökeres. I still think that Gyökeres is quite fatigued. I don't think one, I don't think he has the confidence, and two, I think he's still playing a little leggy and fatigued. But I do think it's the system because there's so much asked of him to do the high press and lead the press, and you see him and Odegaard, especially this game too. You saw how much he was pressing the defenders and pressing Allison. So I think it's what's being asked of him. And I think Arteta, the way that he looks at the game is that he knows the goals are going to come. He doesn't think that
It
or
needs to come from
value.
him.
Yeah, he doesn't value like a one
Yeah.
person doing all the goals. I think he values the collective, which I hope it doesn't hurt us in the long run, especially this season, because Holland is just on a different form, and we don't even have any players. I don't think we have any players on in the leaderboard from goals scored. We're scoring a lot of goals, but no one's in the top half
Hmm.
of the leaderboard. So I mean, on one side, it's amazing what the fact that we're able to score so much and just get it from everywhere. But on the other side, it truly makes you wonder, like, what if we had like a 15 goal scorer, like Kai Havertz last season? Like, he scored 15 in all competitions.
And but that's the same system. So why is it different with Havertz
Because
then?
I think Havertz is more of a midfielder. Like, look at Marino.
Mm,
He's more of a midfielder. He has more of a sense of the game.
mhm,
Actually, I don't know if that's harsh to say, but he understands the flow of the game and he understands where to arrive. Whereas because when you're a midfielder, you also have that defensive mindset as well that you have to arrive in the box at the right moment to be able to, you know, break up an attack. Whereas Gyökeres, it's like the only instinct he has is like, okay, I'm just going to go forward. So with the link up play, he doesn't have that there, and him not showing up at the right areas, especially with that Declan Rice cross, and I think there was a cross with Saka as well that no one got at the end of it. Like I just think he just doesn't have the confidence, so he's just trying to be a menace and hope someone else finishes it.
He seems a little bit lost out there, doesn't he?
Yeah, and I think that piece of it is more confidence than anything.
yeah, that's a big problem.
Huge
Because
problem.
yeah,
It is.
if your guy is losing confidence like that, and you're not scoring, man, that could be it can turn into a drought, right? Especially
It
for the
already
attack.
is. It already is, and I think the
Yeah, yeah, I
best thing
guess.
that can
Yeah.
happen for him is if Jesus starts a couple games, like from the offset, Havertz
Mm,
comes back and they give him maybe a game or two just completely off,
right.
right? Like that's what it looks like to me. He looks very lethargic. He doesn't have the same pace that he had at the beginning of the season. I don't know what injury it was that he dealt with. I don't know if it's still lingering, but he looks very lethargic, and it just looks like he's just trying to do the kilometers rather than make them valuable kilometers, if you get what I'm throwing down.
Hmm.
Like he's just out there for the cardio. I'm keeping it real. Like that's what it looks like.
Mm,
Laurent, before we turn this to you now, I want to say I actually agree with your point to a certain extent about Sesko. Because in this Arsenal system, again, you have to be, everybody who gets the ball, you're comfortable with them on the ball, right? Because we have technical footballers all over the pitch, from back to front. Our defenders, you give them the ball, they have to be good with the ball at their feet. They have to have the IQ. David
mm,
Raya the same. It extends all the way back to our goalkeeper, right? Everybody that gets the ball on the pitch is part of that controlled possession-based football that you trust whoever you're giving the ball to, right? And Gyökeres is not a very technical player, right? And which is why, again, we're not getting the best out of him because we don't go direct to his strengths. That bully ball, running behind, out muscle defenders, run into the channels. We don't tend to play like that often, right? Everybody gets the ball at their feet and they should be able to play knock ball, link
mm.
ups, combinations, connections, patterns of play. Usually, if we're going to give the ball to Gyökeres or back to goal, right? That's with all due respect, that's where the play breaks down, right? He doesn't link up play very well. It's oftentimes we've seen it lead to a turnover.
Yeah, but
Um,
that's so concerning to me because, like, you know what I mean? Like, you're professional. Like,
I
how
know,
many
I know.
touches have you had from the young age at the academy, right? Like, bro, just on a Saturday, on the weekend, just practice your touch in your
Mm.
backyard. You see what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah. No, I agree with you, man. Like you said, you expect to throw on the training ground every day,
yeah.
morning, afternoon. Training how many times a week, playing how many times a week. You should have that in your locker, really. So,
Mm,
but again, that's not his strength. That's not why he made professional football as a striker, because he's not that kind of striker. Whatever, fair enough. What I was going to say was where I agree with you about the Sesko comment is that, and again, the Havertz of the world, the Jesus of the world, Marino's of the world, when Marino plays up top, is those that can play up top in our Arteta's system because they can link up play and they can bring others into play, right?
mm,
As Murad alluded to, Mikel Marino is essentially a midfielder by trade. Kai Havertz sort of the same, so they have a little more of that vision of the field, that IQ, that technical ability. And Sesko is that kind of striker, which is why I stand on it to this day that Gyökeres is more of a Berta signing, Andrea Berta, our sporting director. Gyökeres is more of a Berta signing than Arteta signing. I think Arteta wanted Sesko. Still,
Mm,
I stand on that. Because Sesko is actually he's technically a better footballer than Gyökeres. And what works in
right.
Sesko's favor is that he has time to grow, which is also why we wanted him. Right, he's about 4 or 5 years younger than Gyökeres. Gyökeres was the win now striker solution, right, because he was banging the goals. Um, but Sesko was more of that younger project striker. And again, I stand on the fact that I think that's what Arteta wanted, really and truly. He wants somebody who can, because Sesko he's got technical brilliance. I do like how he what he brings to the game from a technical standpoint. You know, he's very good touch, very good technique, and he's young, so he has time on his side to grow. So again, I don't know if right now, you know, based on their CV so far, the better striker was obviously you look at the guy who's got the numbers, and Gyökeres has the numbers, and he's older, a little bit more proven, right? Played in Champions League, played in a couple different leagues internationally as well. So that's what's giving Gyökeres the edge. Sesko could go on to be a better striker, but still at this moment in time, I do think his technical brilliance is what I think I think he would do better in Arteta's system, in Arsenal system, funny enough, than Gyökeres because he can actually link up play and he can knock the ball a little bit. Um, but yeah, sorry. So yeah, you're like, what do you think? Just hearing me and Murdad and hearing what we've had to say about it from the outside looking in, like, what are you seeing from Gyökeres? And like, do you think it's him? Do you think we're not getting the best out of him? And is it the system? Is it, you know, a combination of both? Do you feel sorry for the guy? Like, what is it? What are you seeing?
Hmm. Um, so I mean, having listened to your points, both your points in regards to the system and how um it seems that it's more suited, funny enough, to midfieldish type players in that position, then yeah, you could say, right, that there is a factor there, right, where the system just doesn't allow him to fully shine and show his abilities. Uh, and for me now, when you bring in the point with Berta, Andre Berta versus Mikel Arteta, I'm a bit surprised because again, right, like you have a full team of analysts. I'm sure they run the data on what the numbers are, right? For even their number nines, like you see what I'm saying, like the number of touches they get out of the system. And if you know that, right, why would you bring in a player like that? You see what I'm saying? Like if you can, like, and you said you mentioned this from all the way back to Lacazette, right? That under Arteta, number nines just do not have, right, the same type of output that you can get out of them in another system,
Mm-hmm.
right? So it's almost like, well, we probably should have went for a striker that has the qualities to fall into the system as opposed to one who doesn't. You see what I'm saying? Like the technical abilities, the first touch, and whatnot, right? Yeah, yeah. But other than that, right? Obviously, if you look at his track record, right, the way he was playing in the Portuguese league, uh, he's a good striker, right? And now it seems like he's just at a disadvantage here, right? In terms of the service as well. And even in terms, I feel like, of the build-up, right? Because you have to build up a certain way to even maybe to feed him the balls in those key positions to allow him to,
Mm-hmm.
right, to make those dangerous runs or carry the ball and things like that, right? And that's just not happening for him. Yeah, so I'd say, yeah, I'd go more so system, more so than the player at this point.
Interesting. Well, interesting to hear you say that because you've been giving him a lot of, you know, personal criticism and kind of bashing him
I
yourself.
mean, like at this point, the only thing that you can really say is, well, you're a professional. You have to adapt. Right? That's the only other thing. You have to adapt, right? So you've been brought in, right, to this team. They've signed you, and now, right, you find yourself in these waters. You have to figure out a way to adapt, right? And that's what I'm saying. Like, if you have to legit, like, train harder to up your game to meet the standards of said system, then you have to do that, right? But you cannot just day in, week out, produce the kind of output or results that you're giving, right?
Yeah.
Because yeah, it's not good.
Yeah. But I want to, sorry, one more thing I want to kind of talk about really quickly, just carrying on. And we can spend like, 5 or so minutes briefly talking about this, but continuing on to the second half of the game, obviously, I mean, we didn't really see much, right, that left us to be inspired or desired by, really and truly. It was a poor second half showing. I think at halftime, you're thinking, the pattern of Arsenal so far this season is that first half is kind of you're feeling out, testing the waters, kind of like a boxing match, right? You're not really throwing your jabs. Um, but you're kind of feeling out the game going into it. In the second half, you just we've seen many times this season, we've just exploded, come out the second half, and then just kind of take the game to the opposition. Obviously, that didn't happen in this one. Matter of fact, it was actually the opposite. Liverpool was on the ascendancy in the second half, and I would go as far as saying probably I didn't recognize them. Right, I didn't recognize that team. We looked a shadow of ourselves, and I think the occasion might have gotten to us. I don't know if you guys find that, but this is now showing me that, yeah, buckle up. It's going to be a long rest of the season. If we think that we had this in the bag now, but we got a long way to go. Because again, the only ones that can really stop us is ourselves, right? We're at the top of the league. We are 6 points clear. But again, that PTSD of not getting over the line, that narrative and that rhetoric of 20 plus years since Arsenal's lifted the Premier League crown, and these set of players can be the first ones to do that. All that is going to keep playing into our thinking, I think, week in, week out. And players will come out and say the right things in the media and say, they'll know that we've been here before and it's not affecting us and the mental strength and whatnot. But we're human beings, right? At the end of the day. So fans feel it and the players will feel it. And I think that's what happened in this game. You heard it a lot. If you guys watch that game and anyone watching that game with audio, more than usual, any mistake that we've made, the crowd was on the team. The moans and the groans were coming out every time Liverpool got on the ball, which was a lot in the second half because they dominated possession. You hear the fans trying to rile the team up and saying, "Come on, come on, Arsenal!" Like, the fans are really trying to play their part and get behind the team. And I felt the team today really felt that weight and that pressure of what the 3 points could have done, right? And therefore played into the nerves, overthinking things. I think uncharacteristic mistakes. Our midfield did not show up today at all. I think, and you can say in the last few games, our midfield have been the best part of the team, right? The Declan Rice, the Zubamendi, the Odegaard. None of them had a good game at all. I think they all went missing.
Saliba with almost own
Saliba,
goal.
yeah, the lack of communication, which was obviously in the first half. I don't know. I don't think. I think the occasion got to us today, and I think we need to remember that we're still in a good position. We're 6 clear, but listen, like it could have been a lot worse. We got to get these out of our system from now and just try and continue to lock in and to focus because we have many games to go ahead of us, and we need to try and take the emotion out of the football match and just play the game for 90 minutes and keep them ticking off one by one because that looked like an emotional and nervy performance from me today. We were definitely on the back foot, which leads me to I wanted to, before we move on to the segment, I think we needed to talk about the Liverpool and Arne Slot factor. We came into this today, like I said, expecting the 3 points, considering what Liverpool was missing. And to you boys, it's mostly this one is mostly for Murda. Considering what Mr. Slot was missing today, again, we expected a 3-point banker, right, from Arteta and Arsenal. Are we going to give our Slot any credit for the way he approached the game? Because again, missing both of his strikers, missing his star man from last season in Mo Salah, he still found a way to set up to not lose the game. And in fact, if they were a little bit more clinical, maybe if they did have a focal point up top, some were saying with the way we approached the game, if they had a striker, if somebody can be on the end of the chances, they could have won that game today easily. I fear what would have happened if they did have their full strength because of the way we approached the game, So I actually give him, from a tactical standpoint, I give him a lot of credit for how he approached the game and managed to get something out of it. They controlled the game, right? He put midfielders playing in the number 9 role between Wirtz and Szoboszlai. They would rotate that number 9, clog the midfield, and kept good possession of the football. And their outlet was Frimpong on the right. They had a right back, essentially, a right wing back playing right wing, who was causing absolute havoc in the second half to Miles Lewis-Skelly, who was a concern, by the way, at left back at the moment. He just doesn't look on it. So on a different day, one of those chances where Frimpong is skinning and roasting Lewis-Skelly could have led to something. So he clearly had an outlet. He clearly had a way to still get the best out of the team that he had on the pitch. Didn't really moan about the 11 or what he didn't have, but he put a team out there that he thought can get a result, and he got a result away from home against the champions elect or top of the table team. And you have to say he'd be happy with that point. So curious to know if you think if there's any credit you would give at all to Slot and the way he approached the game from a tactical standpoint.
No, zero.
Oh, that was quick. All right, folks. See you next week. Yeah. Okay. Laurent.
Damn. All right, you know what? Yeah,
We just didn't execute. Why am I going to give him credit when we didn't?
No. We're running that back. There's no way that's the answer, bro. There is absolutely no way in hell that's the answer, bro.
But you see, I tried to pose it in a way. I tried to paint the full picture to see if he'll be like, okay, yeah, I can give him credit for this.
No way
after all of that,
watch
said,
that
nope.
game and not credit the manager for the setup.
That's kind of crazy.
No.
That's crazy.
Wow.
No.
Wow.
No. The only thing that I'll praise him is for what he said in the post match. But no, absolutely not. We were not on it.
No shit, you weren't on it because at some point it's like they didn't allow you guys to you guys did have your a 1-2, right? A 1-2 chance. There's even a no for real. Like you guys definitely had your like if not you guys had your half chances, I would say for sure. But in terms of you guys dictating the game how you guys would usually do, bro, that's credit to them and the midfield and their ability to break up the play. Even they were dominating possession second half, right?
That's poor execution by us.
Poor execution by you guys. And you're not factoring in the great execution by them.
No.
Wow. I've
already given him this compliment 20 minutes ago. I'm not going to just continue the compliments.
That is absolutely insane. I think everyone at home just has come to realize on this day that you could never be biased or impartial towards Arne Slot. You
Correct.
Never.
We knew this 30 episodes ago.
Damn. Damn. All right. Well, yeah. I guess
there has to be something for staying consistent. At least I'm consistently a hater of Arne Slot.
Yeah. I guess. Damn.
I tried, Laurent. I tried to get it out of him, but
Yeah, no,
it
but
didn't work on this occasion.
Yeah, I think the setup was good, especially that Frimpong playing Frimpong in that position was quite interesting. I think he had better performances than Salah did this season, and yeah, he was a menace, truly a menace. I think for some of the balls he did deliver, right, the delivery could have been a bit more pinpoint accuracy. And had those been, I think the scoreline would have been pretty different. But other than that,
this is what I was saying is that a couple of times where he did find himself in those positions, you found him hesitating a lot, and that's what I mean. If they had a focal point like an Isak or an Ekitike, because a lot of the time they don't have a striker, right? Like guys aren't instinctively getting into the box or getting in that position between the center backs to occupy the space. So if they have a striker, right, that could have been different.
You're right.
Sorry to cut you off.
Let me give you one piece of praise for him. First half, absolutely not. I think we just didn't execute, and even second half. But the one piece of praise I'll give him is the first half. They played a flat 4-4-2. Okay, it almost looked like a flat 4-4-2 in the defensive phases. But what he did in the second half, which they were dominating possession, is they went to a false 9, and Szoboszlai and McAllister were leading the press, and Gakpo, Frimpong, and Kirkez were sitting. That is what caused all the issues.
And to add on to that, I don't know if you guys noticed, but that press was set up specifically for you guys to have your outlets on the if we're
wings.
watching it from above, yeah, on the right side. So that ball always went to your left side of the pitch.
Yes.
Um,
And it got
and
even more intense
mm,
when Nkapie went off,
right.
if you notice. So I'm gonna give him any praise is for changing that formation because that 4-4-2 at the start of the game was not working. But that false nine, when Gabriel and Saliba didn't know where Gakpo was, it caused a lot of issues.
Mm.
That's the only praise that I'll give.
All right. Well, listen,
How
you got to
hard for
take
you?
what.
How hard was that for you to say?
Oh, extremely hard. Extremely hard. I have a lot of regrets. I mean, who knows? Maybe I'll just cut this part out when I post the podcast.
Sorry,
Oh,
Laurent. We cut you
fuck.
off there. I cut you off there.
Yeah, no, but no, that's really what I wanted to say. Right, to sum it all up. And yeah, no, but other than that, I thought it was it was a stalemate of a game. I think the rain added a bit to the chaos, right? And usually when the pitch is as such, uh, control, even predicting timing where the ball is gonna go, right? And it becomes a bit more scrap on the scrappier side, usually. Um, but yeah, no, good game nonetheless, and on to the next. Yeah.
Hmm. Well, around the Prem, West Ham. Oh my gosh, West Ham. Did you guys watch this game?
Saw a bit of it.
Yeah, same.
They lost another one. Big blow, losing 2-1 to Forest. Now there's a 7 point gap. The question has to be, will Nuno be the next manager sacked?
Hmm.
Sacked twice in one season?
Has that happened before?
I don't know. But it looks like
Mm.
that was I don't even know what to say. Like and I don't know if you guys saw like a lot of the West Ham supporters didn't show up for that game as a protest.
Yeah.
Mm.
That's sad.
Yeah.
Um yeah, I don't even know what to say to West Ham at this point. Any West Ham fans, I feel sorry for you. There should be Spurs in your position, not West Ham. Man City. It was a good result for us. We couldn't capitalize on it, but drew 1-1 against Brighton. Um, I don't know if you guys saw Pep's post-match conference. A few of the reporters were probing him on if this season is as bad as last season, and Pep was getting angry. Like he was angry. He's like, "No, the season's not worse. We're doing better." Blah blah blah. Um, and I haven't seen that side of Pep ever, to be honest with you. And I know we've chatted about it a few times. I think Laurent, you actually brought it up earlier in this season. Um, are we starting to see the end of Pep at City?
I mean, there's rumors Maresca is gonna go there. I don't know if those rumors are credible or substantial, but
Well,
yeah.
he did speak to the City board. That was one of the reasons why he got sacked.
Mm, mm.
On Maresca, Fulham, the Fulham, uh, the Fulham Derby. They beat Chelsea at the Cottage. As your new PA teacher watched another player get sent off. Is discipline the first thing that this PA teacher needs to address?
I think so. I think so. I think so. And what I'm hoping is that a change of management will allow for that, right? That you can maybe bring in a different type of culture, if that's even possible, right? For a manager to do that an organization. But yeah, no, definitely. Because that this is, I mean, how many red cards is this at this
Eight, I
point?
think.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure we must be like up there in terms of
You guys are first, I think.
actually, yeah, you sent the fair play table, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Are
Um,
you excited? Like while I bring that up, are you excited for your new coach? Sorry, you guys have five red cards,
five.
47 yellow.
Um, yeah, no, I am. I am. Yeah, three different players on red cards actually. That's crazy. Gusto, Cucurella, Caicedo, all in the prem.
Sanchez.
Ah, yeah, yeah, you're right. Wow. But yeah, no, I am excited. If I'm being honest, no, it's a freshness. But what I'm truly hoping happens is the attacking. I want to see some good attacking. If I'm being right, obviously you got to keep the defensive, at least improve on that. But I need to see a different pattern of play in the attack. So if you can bring that, then yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, I'm all for it.
Well, you're gonna see him in action this weekend in the FA Cup, so we'll see.
Mm.
And then next week,
Do you
EFL
guys
Cup.
think that's a good game for him to start off with? Given the fact that the game after that is versus you guys, right?
No, I don't think it's a good game for him to start
Mm,
because he's not gonna be able to.
assess fairly, right?
Yeah,
Mm,
because you guys should dominate, and I don't think he's gonna. I think he's gonna save players, but he's also not gonna get a feel for what it's gonna be like.
that's fair.
Uh, but hey, new manager bounce is a thing. Um, I watched this game, the Hill Dickinson, Everton versus Wolves. The two red cards for Keane and Grealish. Grealish, he was just boneheaded. He got one yellow card for dissent, and then he got the second yellow card for mocking the referee. But the red card that Keane got for pulling, I forgot what the striker's name was, pulling his hair as they jumped up for a ball. I don't know if you guys remember. I think it was last year or the year before when Marco Correa's hair got pulled back as he was running away.
Mm,
Like that is a clear like violent conduct. This one, he was jumping up. He thought he was grabbing his shirt. He grabbed his hair and he got a red card for it. Like it was, I don't know. It just didn't. It didn't sit well with me. But they were able to draw with 9 men against Wolves. And Wolves, hey, they picked up points in 2026. All they needed to do is face United, and look at them. Look at them go. So what's your guys' friend name who's a United fan? What's his name again?
geez, Julian.
We gotta get him on the pod, man. We gotta get him on the pod. Oh man. Um, fun fact: Oliver Glasner has faced Unai Emery 7 times. Guess what his record is? Better yet, do you think he's ever lost against Unai Emery?
I mean, when you phrase it like that, I want to see no.
CJ?
I guess not.
7 matches, 5 wins, 2 draws
Hmm.
For Glasner.
for Glasner.
Hmm.
Yep, and there's a few like 4-0s, 5-0s for Palace in there.
It's getting similar to the Arteta versus Slot record,
Sorry, there was some static. Say that again.
huh?
Oh shit. 0-0 draw at Selhurst again. Glasner seems to have Emery's number. Doesn't really do much. I mean, for the table, like Villa level on points with City. Palace, they moved up to 13th. Not much of a difference, but a good result for them. Brentford. Did you captain Igor Thiago, CJ?
Nope, vice captain. So he still give
Vice
me some.
captain. I got a trip. I wanted to triple captain this week, but I just captained him. Scored a brace, and like I posted in our group chat, he is the highest scoring Brazilian player ever in the Premier League, and he still has many games left to add to that tally,
That's
which is
crazy.
crazy to think. And there's
Do
been
you
some
guys think he overtakes Holland?
no,
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 No, no, like I think it's a legitimate question if we're being real.
no,
no,
Um,
no,
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 really?
no.
no.
Unless Holland gets injured, if we're saying that both players are healthy to the end of the season, no.
Yeah,
Erling
no
Holland will
chance.
still, I think he'll make it closer. Like right now, it's a 4 goal difference. I
Mm,
think it will come down to like 1 or 2, but he will not overtake Holland.
mm, okay.
And it's not a shot at him. I just think Holland's just a fucking
Holland's level
robot,
is
man.
different. Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
um, Mr. Arsenal, Thomas Frank. You guys see the pre-match pre-match cup? All right, you know what I'm talking about?
No.
Go Google it right now. Just search Thomas Frank Arsenal Cup. Uh, Semenyo had the perfect sending off for Bournemouth. He scored the late winner against Spurs 3-2. But like I said, the conversation isn't even about what happened on the pitch. It's about what happened pre-match as Thomas Frank was seen drinking an espresso out of an Arsenal cup. And the pettiness and the petulance of these Spurs fans, they care about what cup he's drinking out of. And at the end of the game, yes, Laurent, you have to zoom in to see the cup. That's how sad these Spurs fans are. At the end of the game, Mickey Van der Ven got into it with some of the fans. Like, Spurs fans, you guys are just sad, sad people. I feel for you. You play in a toilet bowl, and like, who is that famous person that said, it is the history of the Tottenham? You may have won a Europa League, and you sacked arguably your best manager who's able to actually win something. It's the history of the Tottenham. That's all I gotta say. But Thomas Frank, you're an Arsenal agent in disguise. I fucking rate it.
Mm.
Do you guys think there's an issue if your coach has a cup of a rival team?
Yeah, yeah, I can't lie. I'm not even gonna downplay that situation.
Oh, so
That's
you would
unforgivable.
feel ways if Mikel drank out of a Spurs cup.
Yeah, 100%, bro. What are you doing? Be a little bit more self-aware. It's inexcusable.
And do you think if okay, let me ask you, let me if if Arsenal was winning
Mhm.
and he did something like that, would you still care as much?
Like winning the game.
Like winning the game, like imagine like we have our record, we're top of the league, we're away
Yeah,
at Spurs, and he had his espresso in a Spurs cup. Would you still care as much?
yeah. I think it would still be somewhat of a thing. Like it wouldn't be as big as now.
Okay,
Obviously,
okay,
this is
okay.
piled
So
up on for Spurs because Spurs are in the position
okay,
they're in.
okay. So
And and
that's
and
the
the thing
point.
is, Spurs care more about Arsenal than we care about them, right? We don't give a fuck about them, like but they watch our every move. We live rent free in their head because they're a shit club, really and
It
truly.
kind of
So,
reminds me of another club, right? That is on the north side of the Fulham.
what color do they wear? Who
Hmm.
are you referring to?
I actually don't know what color they wear because the fan that's on this pod never wears their color. I'm assuming
Mm.
it's the color of the sky. I just don't know. Like, can we get a confirmation here, Mr. Piano?
That's crazy, man. That is crazy.
You
You know,
said backhanded comments today, bro. Come on.
like you can just be out here minding your own business, having no care in the world as to what's going on, and someone just decides to come from across the street and deck you in the face. Like,
Jeez.
why? Why you gotta do that? You know what I mean? Like, we're all just having a good time here. It's a party, it's lit, right? And you see what I'm saying? Like, ah, but yeah, man, it's blue. It's blue. That's the color you're looking for.
Shit. St. James's Park, 7 goal thriller against Leeds. Harvey Barnes scored in the 100th minute to help Newcastle win. They jumped to sixth place on 32 points. They're 3 points away from Liverpool sitting in fourth. Um, Leeds are going to be a problem, and we're facing them in a few weeks. They're going to be a problem. I know we beat them at home early in the season, but Ellen Road, they've shown to take points off some strong sides, and they're looking good. I mean, the table doesn't show that, but they're going to be they're no slouch. And last game, Julian's United life without Amarim begins with a 2-2 draw at Turf Moor. Chesko. Scored a brace. Um, not much about the game. The one question I have for you guys is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is in direct talks with the board, and he may come back as a caretaker manager. Do you think that's a good move for the Red Devils, or do you think they should go for more of a permanent signing now?
You know
And
what?
before you answer, the reason why I'm bringing this up is because, as much as I hate to say this, United are sitting in seventh. They're 3 points off a Champions League spot. Sorry, 1 point off a Champions League spot because fifth place gets it. And they do have an opportunity to be in the Champions League. So, sorry, CJ, you were gonna say,
I was gonna say, I don't think it's actually a bad appointment, and I don't think it's bad in the sense that, like, if I'm a United fan, like I support and I condone the fact that the board, if this is what they're gonna do, take their time and get the right manager, as opposed to shit. We need a new permanent manager now. Let's go and get, the PE teacher or a guy from LinkedIn. Um, you know, you know what I mean? Like, just take your time with
hold
it.
on.
I'm sorry, I had to. I had to.
Uh,
Um,
Yo, I think we
yeah,
need to
like
make a segment of Laurent just catching strays.
yeah, no,
This
that's
man's just
wild,
minding
man.
his own business, just another pew pew.
no, but you know what it is, and it wasn't even obviously a personal dig at Laurent. That to me, it just feels like that's what Chelsea did. It's like, all right, shit, we need a quick permanent signing. Let's just go and this guy's CV looks good. Let's go and pull him off of LinkedIn type shit. You know what I mean? Like
But to be fair, he is part of the
the
because
ownership group, right? Because
yeah,
The Blue
Strasbourg.
Rock.
yeah. So I guess I don't know. It was more so, it's a facilitated
But
move.
that's what I mean. Is it like a jobs for the boys thing? Like, oh, it's convenient because he's within the club. He's within our our circle of clubs that we own. So let's just go and pull this guy from one of our other clubs and bring him into Chelsea. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't know. That's what it looks like from the outside. But in United's case, yeah, I think it's important, right, for these clubs. Even Chelsea, United, Spurs, if they're to sack Thomas Frank, which I think is going to be around the corner soon, it's important for these clubs not to be impulsive or instinctive and just bring in any manager. You got to weigh up your options and take time, and even if it means getting a caretaker manager in, so that you can get the guy that you really want, maybe come the end of the season or off season, and you can reassess. I think that's important for stability and for the long term future of the football club. Because I'm hearing rumblings. I think this summer is going to be big in terms of a managerial merry-go-round, so to speak. Because I'm hearing Luis Enrique may be available, which I think if we were to ever get rid of Arteta, I mean he's a manager I'd be first in for, Luis Enrique. I think he's a phenomenal manager. So if he becomes available in the summer, I think big clubs can look at him. United could look at him, or then there's names like Zinedine Zidane who's been floating around. Although I think he's going to go and take the France job post World Cup or whatever for France. Um, but yeah, moral of the story is for me, I think it's important to take time for these kind of things because you never know who can be available at a different time, or you really want to assess your options. Such a quick turnaround that you fire somebody, you feel like you have to hire somebody quick right away, but it's got to be the right appointment. And so I think from their point of view, for United point of view, I think to bring in a caretaker manager like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, I think that's the right thing to do. If you're going to bring in an interim coach, it's bring in somebody who has familiarity with the club, and has that stability with the club, and as Ole did. And I think we gave him a hard time, but seeing the managers that have followed since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, he actually did a decent job there, to be
Yeah.
honest with you, in comparison to some of these guys that they brought in since. So I think Ole would be a good, steady the ship kind of appointment for them until the end of the season. And who knows, if he does well enough, he could be the permanent solution again. But
I think
yeah,
Oliver Glasner is going to end up there. Either
like at the end of the
Glasner
season.
or yeah, and Adoni Iraola, because they would they would help a lot. Like if Villa wasn't where Villa are,
Mm,
I could see Unai going there. Um, but I think Oliver Glasner, that's the next step for him. I
mm.
just don't know what the dynamic is going to be because obviously Glasner is going to want to be a manager, not the head coach, to have more say. But I think he's got a little bit more of a track record than Amarim to be able to push for that. And yeah, Luis Enrique, like there's a lot of managers that may be available, and I
Yeah.
don't be shocked if Javi Alonso gets sacked at the end of the season,
Mm.
right? Like Luis Enrique, He was in Barcelona, so I highly doubt he would go there, but it can shift a lot of things, right? Who knows if Klopp will come back into management and then Javi coming to take over Liverpool. Like there's a lot of movement that can happen.
Yeah.
Um, Anything to add, Mr. Piana?
No?
No? Well, this week or this weekend, sorry, all 20 Premier League teams are in the FA Cup action round three. I believe tomorrow was it tomorrow or was it today? I think it was today actually, if I'm not mistaken. Wrexham and Forest started round three. Oh, it is tomorrow at 2:30. I'm not going to go through all of the matchups. We'll kind of go through some of the key matchups for our predictions. Like this week, um, Chelsea and Arsenal. We're not going to be predicting them because we all anticipate an Arsenal and Chelsea win. Laurent, do you like what do you want to see? Because you guys are visiting Charlton Athletic. Um, what is it that you're looking for to see in your new coach's first game?
Uh, what?
Like like let me rephrase that in a little bit different. Because you guys have Arsenal on deck,
Mhm.
do you like is it something that you want to see like a full rotated squad? Do you just want to get a feel for how he wants to set up his what are you looking for to say, okay, this isn't a PA teacher, this is a football coach?
Uh, I think in terms of yeah, the setup is important, right? A setup that makes sense given the personnel. A solid structure. Um, even in terms of well, I feel like it might be too much to ask for a first game, but
Okay.
solidifying the defensive, the back line, right? Getting them to play in a way that they feel, confident with the ball, with the build up. But more so than not, that attack, like I said, I need to see that these guys are ready, right? That they're in tune. So if he has to, I don't know, personally, right? No one knows what he's going to do in terms of who's going to play where, right? What positions, whatnot, and even the patterns of play. But yeah, definitely have to see a lot more from the attack than what we have seen thus far.
Mm.
Um, yeah.
And do you anticipate like a rotated squad with Arsenal on deck?
I could say yeah. I could say yeah. I think he might even use this as a, depending on how the game goes, more so, testing ground, right? Getting players in and out to keep them fresh. Um, but yeah, and that intensity that he talked about, right? Because he did mention that, that he's trying to bring back that intensity on the pitch. So let's see what he does. Let's see what he does. But anyhow, that game is not won. Oh man. Yeah, he's gonna be in for a rude awakening.
Mm. Yeah, you guys will have an extra day's rest because you guys play Saturday and we play Sunday. Uh, hmm, we'll see. CJ, not much to talk about. We're facing Portsmouth at Fratton Park. Um, the only thing that I'll say is my expected 11 is like a big rotation. Obviously, with missing Mascara and now Nkapie potentially being injured, it's going to kind of our left-sided center back is going to be a little bit difficult. But what I expect to see is Kepa, White, Marley Salmon, the academy boy, next to Gabriel, Lewis Skelly, and the midfield Norgard, Eze Marino, and then Matareke, Jesus Martinelli. I think Wanyeri is on the verge of going to Bournemouth on loan, so I don't expect him to play.
You think that's
Um,
gonna happen?
I hope it happens. I pray that it happens because he needs to get minutes in his legs, and I think Ndani Areola is a phenomenal manager. And if there's anyone that I would want him to go to, is him. And now with the departure of Semenyo, they need someone on the wing, and he would get a lot of minutes. So for me, please make it happen. Um, do you agree with my lineup? Do you have anything to break down for the game, like thoughts?
Yeah, it's interesting. I think definitely we can with all due respect to Portsmouth, we should rotate everybody out and just give players minutes who haven't been playing. So I think yeah, looking at that lineup, I pretty much almost agree. I again going from what Arteta would do, I don't think he's going to play Salmon. I think he'll play one of Saliba, White, Timber in there. I don't think he'll start Salmon. I could be wrong, but I don't think that's what he would do. Other than that, I mean, I think everything else is pretty much yeah. I think there's certain important players in there that you have in that lineup that need minutes. The likes of Lewis Skelly, Ben White, of course, will get crucial minutes. Ebrija Eze, crucial minutes there. The only other question is, do we see potentially Kai Havertz coming into this game? Maybe off the bench, but
That's what I
I
was
think
going to
this will be
ask
crucial.
you. If you don't
Mhm.
think he'll play Salmon, do you think you'd play Norgard in there to give Saliba some rest because he had to pick up a lot of minutes when Gabriel
Yeah,
was out, and
yeah,
then play Havertz in the midfield or play someone else in the midfield, like maybe potentially Wanieri, even though he's going to be on loan, and then you'll have Marino as the sitter,
yeah.
right? Like
Yeah, I think I think Kai Havertz, if he's thereabouts and he's fit, he should definitely get some minutes in this game. Likely off the bench. I think Jesus will start as a main number 9 striker in this game. Um, and then yeah, I think at some point though, it'll be crucial for Havertz to get minutes in this game though. I think if we're
yeah.
going to get him back in because he's going to be, Arteta's it's one of his favorites, Kai Havertz, and he could be helpful for us and crucial for us down the stretch for the season. So I think it starts here. I think he should get some minutes in this game. But I think overall, not much more to say on the game as a whole, right? We expect to win the game, and then push forward in a fourth competition.
Um, so a couple other notables. City look to get on track if they host Exeter City at Etihad. Um, as
They
they
always get
face,
good cup draws. Eh? You notice in every
yeah,
competition, they always
they always
get
get
good, good
favorable
cup.
ones. I mean,
Must
they're
be.
facing Newcastle in 3 days, so like, and they're gonna probably have a full rotated squad. Newcastle have the harder matchup. They're facing Bournemouth at St James's Park. Again, I still think they'll rotate because I think the EFL Cup is a little bit like being the holders. I think they're going to go all in for that.
Mhm.
Uh, but the three games that we're predicting this week, Everton, um, they're hosting Sunderland at the Hill Dickinson. United are hosting Brighton, and Spurs hosting Villa. Um, a lot of discussion in all three of those games. Everton, what is their you know what type of players do they have after having two red cards?
I was gonna say, well, do those red cards carry over in other competitions?
I believe they do because they're all in the FA. I might be mistaken. I might be mistaken, but because like Caicedo's carries over um, in the EFL, I think no, sorry, Caicedo got a second yellow, right? That's why he can't play in the. It was yellow card accumulation for the semifinal.
Yep.
I'm not sure. Maybe I'm not
I'm
sure.
not sure either.
But Everton is still thin with injuries and stuff. They're still
Yeah,
quite thin. And same thing with Sunderland, having six
Sunderland's as well.
players,
Yeah.
right? So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be who is going to have something there. United, for obvious reasons, they got a. Some can say it was a good point away from home. Others will say they should have taken care of business, but nonetheless, they're facing Brighton, who are tough to play against, and Man City just saw that. And then last but not least, the Arsenal agent faces Aston Villa. What type of Spurs are we going to see? And potentially, if Spurs lose this game, it might be Thomas Frank's last game. I know we've been saying it for a few weeks now, but
Hmm.
it like after that cup, like who knows? Um, Leaderboard, CJ sitting at 49, Laurent and I tied on 47. Um, Mr. Piana, Everton Sunderland. Who do you got?
I'm gonna go Sunderland.
Sunderland. I'm gonna go Everton.
This feels like a game that's gonna like be won on like PKs or some shit. Because they can go literally either way. But I think Everton will win. Just edge it.
All right. United Brighton. I'm going Brighton.
I'm gonna go United.
Um, United for me as well.
Okay, last but not least, Arsenal agent versus Villa. Going Villa.
Hmm.
It's at Spurs, eh?
Yep.
I'm sure they don't even have a good home record.
Nope.
No, their away record's better than their home record. I think they're
Yeah, I'll go.
second.
I'm gonna go Villa as well.
Yeah, it's crazy. What's throwing me off is there's no draws in these ones, in it. You have to pick a winner. So I think yeah, I think Spurs are doomed, man. I think Villa wins this one too.
Okay. All right. I guess Laurent, you have a chance at going ahead.
Did anybody get any results right last week? I don't even remember.
Yeah, we all
Did it?
got the Forest game.
All
That's it.
right.
Yeah. Because Chelsea. Yeah.
What did Laurent say last week ahead of the Chelsea game? I dare you guys to pick anything other than a Chelsea win. You know, it's almost like it's disrespectful to not have predicted a Chelsea win. You know, like this was like a guaranteed result.
They're facing their
Chelsea.
biggest rival, the true team in Fulham.
Like I think even me and Murdoch predicted a draw, if I'm not mistaken, and you were even disappointed with that, Laurent. It's like, wow, how could you? Like, how dare you guys? Like, there's no way. And then look what they go and do. For fuck's sakes, Chelsea, man.
Couldn't have predicted that red card.
Oh my god!
Hasn't been a good week for you, Laurent? From a football watching point of view, hasn't been a good week for you.
Oh no, it's been bleak. Yeah.
There's a few things that are certain in this world: gravity, death, and Chelsea getting red cards.
Yeah, bro, y'all gotta work on that for real, man.
Yeah. No. Apparently, even how Kukurea got it, he's been doing that quite a bit, and he's always gotten away with it. Yeah.
I saw that the last man, right? He was last man, and then
grabbing
Harry Wilson, who's been on a tear, man. He's on my FPL team. He's been on a freaking tear, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. He's been
good goals. Good goals.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Harry Wilson has been killing it. All right. Get this out for the listeners, the viewers. Mr. Piana, you take it away, sir. You've had a rough week. You can brighten everyone's week.
All right. Well, it's that time. It's that time. Back to the FA Cup we go. I think it's also high time that we finally see a Chelsea 3 points. So that I'm excited for. And as well.
Murdoch, stop laughing, man. Have some respect.
No,
I'm laughing because you don't get 3 points in the FA Cup. You just advance. So like.
Oh, yeah, my bad. Look at that. Yeah. Yeah, a win.
Yo,
a Chelsea
act
win.
like you've been here, bro.
A Chelsea win. Yeah, bro. This is how crazy the
PA teacher got you.
the week has been. For those of you who don't know, my team got eliminated out of the AFCON um, by
Yo, that
Algeria.
was shambolic, man. You guys should have won. I was fucking cheesed.
You know, it is what it is. At the end of the day, right? Kudos to them, and yeah, right. Hopefully they go for it in the competition. But besides that, make sure you like and subscribe, and yeah, stay tuned. Keep coming back for more episodes, for more content, and things are heating up because after this, it is EFL, and after that, it is back to Champions League football,
Mm.
where Murdad has put all his chips on Arsenal winning the damn thing. So make sure you stick with us. And do they win? Let's find out together. So with that, see you guys on the next one.
Adios.